Hello everyone. So as you probably noticed in my last video where I got a Rebirth Island win mainly using the Modern Warfare RPG, I have indeed managed to get platinum launches in Modern Warfare and I couldn't be happier. And I just wanted to make this video to say how I went about going for platinum launches, and I'll give an explanation and a few tips to help those of you who are going for platinum launches and give my thoughts on the Damascus grind 1 month into it. I'll have each section timestamped in the description down below so you can skip to one part if you're just interested in that. Firstly, for those of you who have just started trying to get platinum on launchers and really don't have a lot of experience with them like how I was, I'll give a brief explanation of each launcher. The Pila is easily the best launcher all around. It can lock onto killstreaks and it's able to free aim, making it amazing for taking down killstreaks and decent for getting kills as well. Although the damage radius isn't very large with the Pila, so you're going to want to be aiming pretty close to the enemies or else you could get some hit marks. The Strela doesn't have lock on, but the rocket travels much faster than any of the other launchers, and it's just going to take a while to get used to the arc and knowing how far you have to aim for certain kill streaks. The Joker is much more complicated and extremely different to the other launchers because you can only lock on with it, and the rocket goes up and then down onto the area or kill streak you've locked onto instead of directly travelling towards it. And it's not fast either. It takes around 10 seconds from the point when you fire the launcher to the point where it hits the kill streak, and in that time another teammate with any other launcher could have hit it down before you. It took me an embarrassing amount of time to figure out how the Joker actually locks on. It only auto locks onto kill streaks, so if you want to lock onto a specific area, you're going to have to aim with it and then hold left click on PC, R2 on PlayStation or RT on Xbox, and after a few seconds of holding, the rocket will fire. And then the RPG, which is simple enough. Like the Strela P, you can't lock on with it, however, unlike the Strela P, the rocket doesn't move very fast, making it very hard to shoot down aerial kill streaks. So now I'm going to give my advice for getting platinum for the launchers. Firstly, and this is how I did it, I'll recommend splitting going for the launchers into 3 different parts. Part 1, this is leveling up the launcher. I just did this by equipping a double weapon XP token, going into hardcore shoot the ship, and just shooting everyone you see. Since the launcher's max level is 31, this shouldn't take too long. Part 2, going for the kills challenges. So the launchers aren't all just about shooting down kill streaks. There's actually 4 challenges based around going for kills. Spray paint is just getting kills, woodland is getting attacker kills, which basically just means killing enemy players that are on a point that they have captured, digital is getting defender kills, which means killing enemy players when you are on a point that your team has captured, and reptile is getting kills with the perk amped. I'd recommend going into point game modes like hardpoint, domination and headquarters to do these because that way you can get all different types of kill camos done. For getting kills with the Joker, shipment is the best because you can just spawn in and shoot one rocket on your left, one rocket on your right, and then it's pretty much always going to kill someone. And for attacker and defender kills, just keep locking onto the point and shoot a rocket and you should be good. For every other launcher, I'd recommend going into hardcore to get kills, but not with the Joker, because your teammates are just going to run by the areas that you're shooting your rockets at, and eventually you're just going to get loads of team kills and you're going to start dying from them, even though you're not doing it intentionally. For every other launcher apart from the Joker, getting kills isn't too hard. But since the aim down sight speed is so slow with the launchers, make sure to jump and aim down sights simultaneously when you turn every corner, like you can see here, because or else by the time you fully aim, you're just going to get killed. And when an enemy gets close, don't be afraid to shoot down at the ground. You'll kill yourself in the process, but you'll also kill them, so it's worth it. This is the loadout that you're going to want to be using for getting kills with every one of the launchers. For your primary, I'd recommend to have the riot shields because 1, you can do it in the background and avoid the pain of having to do it all in one go, and 2, even if you already golded it, you'll be protected from the back, and if you choose any other primary, you'll be getting kills with that you could also be getting with the launchers, so I just stick with the riot shield. Then for secondary, use whatever launcher you're doing obviously. For perks, for perk 1, use cold blooded so enemy AI killstreaks can't shoot at you. For perk 2, run hardline, and stay with me here because for perk 3, there are 2 perks that are amazing for launches. Spotter outlines all enemy killstreaks, making it way easier to see killstreak through walls, and amped makes you reload your launchers quicker. For getting kills, you're going to want to run amped as your 3rd perk, and this is where it gets interesting. Instead of using killstreaks, run specialist and have spotter as your 1st perk, and this is where hardline comes in, so you get spotter after just 1 kill. So you have spotter and amped at the same time, which is really powerful. This way, even when you're going for kills with the rocket launchers, it's making it easier to shoot down kill streaks in the background. And for throwables, I used this stun for tactical and a molotov or thermite for lethal so I could kill myself when I ran out of ammo. And then for the field upgrade, use a munitions box so you can get 1 extra rocket. Okay, so that's part 2. Part 3, this is shooting down kill streaks. So the Dragon, Splinter, Topo, Tiger, Stripes and Skulls camo challenges. For this, you're going to want to run the exact same loadout as you did for getting kills, but just swap spotter and amped so that you always have spotter and you get amped after your 1st kill, because spotter is much more important than amped for shooting down kill streaks. Okay, so now my advice for getting kill streaks. This is by far the hardest part about going for platinum launches in Modern Warfare, and it's most likely why you're watching this video. This part is so hard because unlike every other camo challenge in Modern Warfare, these challenges are completely dependent on the enemy players because you have to rely on them to get kill streaks. So, to quickly explain, there's 6 camo challenges based around getting kill streaks. Dragon is destroying aerial killstreaks, Splinter is destroying ground-based killstreaks and vehicles, Turbo is destroying enemy equipment, killstreaks or vehicles, Tiger is destroying support killstreaks, Stripes is just destroying killstreaks, and Skulls is destroying vehicles. From me reading that, you can probably tell that a lot of these camos overlap with each other. For example, if you shoot down a UAV, it counts as an aerial killstreak, a support killstreak, an equipment killstreak or vehicle, a killstreak, and a vehicle. So you're going to get progress in 5 different camo challenges by just shooting down one killstreak. And this is why personal radars are going to be your best friend while going for launchers, because personal radars are the only killstreak in the game that count for all 6 killstreak camos, even the ground streaks for some reason, which becomes very helpful later on because the Splinter camo challenge is the challenge that will take you the longest. Also, unlike normal UAVs, personal radars are pretty still, so they're easy to hit even with the launchers that don't lock on like the RPG and the Strela. So this is why whenever you hear enemy personal radar in the air, even if you're trying to shoot down another killstreak, you should stop and pay all your attention to trying to shoot down that personal radar. And this gets me to the best game modes to go for shooting down killstreaks. For the lock-on launches, Ground War is probably the best game mode for shooting down killstreaks, but don't even bother going into Ground War if you're not using a Joker or a Pila, because since the map is so big, that means that the aerial killstreaks are further away and therefore they appear much smaller and are way harder to hit. Other game modes for getting killstreaks: if you have Shoot the Ship, shuffling between hardcore and core Shoot the Ship isn't a bad idea, although the one game mode that you're going to want to be spending the most time in is hardcore free-for-all. To be clear, this is not my idea. I saw from this legend called ZD Plays on Reddit, and he said that hardcore free-for-all is great to go into because since there's no default radar in hardcore, people run personal radars more than UAVs since it costs 1 less kill. I was playing normal Shoot the Ship to try and get killstreaks, and it was pretty inconsistent. Some games there'd be a few killstreaks, but then I'd go like 4 games without seeing a single killstreak. But then when I went into hardcore free-for-all, there were killstreaks everywhere, and I got much more consistent progress than I did in Shoot the Ship. So overall, for destroying killstreaks with the lock-on launchers, you're going to want to be going into Ground War and hardcore free-for-all, and for destroying killstreaks with the non-lock-on launchers, you're pretty much going to want to exclusively be playing hardcore free-for-all. I'm not going to go into detail into every camo challenge of each launcher because you don't really have to focus on each challenge like you would with other guns, because as I've shown you, the killstreak challenges overlap. It's as simple as just shooting down every single killstreak you see, particularly personal radars. Here's the order that I did for the launchers and what order I'd recommend doing. You're going to want to get the worst out of the way first, so first up is the Joker, closely followed by the RPG, which is by far the worst for taking down killstreaks, then move on to the Strela, which is like a better version of the RPG, and finally finish easy with the Pila. I'd strongly recommend going from worst to best because you're going to want to have something to look forward to when you're about to finish. Also, a way a lot of people go for launchers is by just using them as a secondary on all their classes and just do it passively in the background while they work on their primaries. If you're the type of person that can focus on 2 different things like that and think that doing launchers in the background would work better for you, go ahead. It's a completely valid way of golding launchers and many people can do it with no problem, but it's just not the way I like to do things, and it wouldn't be what I'd recommend. Mainly because, since you'll be mostly working on your primary, you won't be able to have the perks like Spotter and Amped that make going for launchers much easier. And this isn't to say that you're not going to be using your primary when going for launches at all. I got my right shield golded when I was going for my launches. It's just to say that you should be treating your primary as a secondary, and you should be mainly focusing on your launcher. This means going into game modes that are best for launchers and setting up your loadout specifically for launchers. When there are no killstreaks available for you to shoot down and you've already completed all the kills challenges, there's no reason you should be holding your launcher, and in those cases you should be using your primary, whether it be an AR, an SMG, a sniper, whatever it is, you should be using that primary to get kills. If you fully focus on just doing launches like I did, you'll have the worst class out of the way first, and after you do the melees, it's all uphill. Going for launchers isn't nearly as stressful as people make it out to be. At most, you might get a bit frustrated when you miss killstreaks with certain launchers, and it's a bit of a boring playstyle you have to adapt to, but that's the height of how bad launchers got. People make it out to be borderline impossible, and that it made them lose their mind, but trust me, the progress is slow, but it's not all that bad. And it doesn't actually take that long either. For me, it only took a total of 19 days, and that was with school and all, so you could easily get platinum launchers in less than 2 weeks, even if you only play for like an hour or 2 a day. And if you're a proper grinder and have way too much free time on your hands, you could get platinum launchers in around a week, maybe even less. Each launcher took me a few days to gold, which is pretty long compared to every other gun in the game, but it's not as long as some people would make it out to be. So I'd strongly just recommend getting through the boringness of the launchers so you can enjoy the rest of your grind and never even have to think about them ever again. Obviously, it's up to you. If you don't want to fully focus on the launchers and would just like to passively do them in the background, that's completely fine. You should just know that the progress will be very, very slow. I'm just the type of person that wouldn't want launchers always weighing down on me, and I'd rather just get them out of the way first thing. This is where the guide section of the video ends, so if you just wanted some help on going for launches, you can click off this video now. The next section is just going to be me talking about my personal experience with launches and my thoughts on going for Damascus so far. I wish you the very best of luck in your journey, and if you have any questions about going for platinum launchers, please comment them down below and I'll be delighted to help you. Okay, so now I'm just going to give my opinion on getting platinum for launchers and the Damascus grind so far 1 month in. Getting platinum for launchers was surprisingly not as bad as I expected. It was actually a bit of fun at first using the Joker and the Riot Shield because it was such a different playstyle to what I was used to playing, and it was actually pretty interesting to learn how the launchers worked because the launchers were the only weapon class that I had barely touched. So yeah, the Joker wasn't great, but since I used it first, I was more caught up in the change of playstyle to focus on how slow and clunky it is, so I didn't find it too bad. Although the RPG was by far my least favourite launcher to do. It was pretty great for getting player kills, but my god, the amount of kill streaks that I missed with that thing is insane. The RPG was the only launcher that I genuinely got angry while doing. It just shot so slow and had such horrible iron sights that I even missed some personal radars, which move so little that they're practically still. After watching Jev's video where he was using it, I was expecting the Strela to be hell, but it actually ended up being one of my favourite launchers to do. I think it was just because Jev was using it in Ground War instead of the normal game modes where the killstreaks appear much larger. But the velocity that rocket fires is so fast that when I got it down, for every like 10 or so UAVs that would appear, I hit about 9 of them, and I became much more accurate than how I expected. And as for the Pila, I was back in school when I started doing the Pila, so I took it much slower than the other launchers, but since it could lock on and free aim, it was very stress free, and the perfect launcher to end with. As boring as the launchers were, no matter how many you've shot down, every time you shoot down a kill streak and you get the cut off or clear skies yellow text on your screen, it's just such a satisfying feeling that really never gets old. Something that I've found now that I've completed the launchers is that every time I hear enemy personal radar in the air, even though it's been over 2 weeks since I've had to use a launcher, I still instinctively look up to the sky and switch to my secondary, only to realise that I don't have to shoot it down. I think that's going to take a few more weeks to get used to. But I'm so glad that I decided to get the launchers out of the way first thing, and something else that I've also gotten out of the way is the combat knife and the Riot Shield. The knife wasn't actually too bad, I could go into core and just one tap people, but the Riot Shield, even though I didn't actively focus on it, it was so bad. I'm very glad that I did it in the background while focusing on my launchers, because if I had fully focused on getting gold for that thing, I genuinely think I would have lost my mind. It's just so slow and clunky and not designed at all for killing people. And that 3 kill streak challenge, for some reason the geniuses over at Infinity Ward thought it would be appropriate to make it so that you have to get 25 3 kill streaks with the Riot Shield, but only 10 3 kill streaks for the knife. Even though the Riot Shield is slower, more awkward, and just worse than the knife for getting kills in every aspect. But I'm also hugely glad that I got that out of the way. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the worst thing I had to gold for Damascus, because I really can't see it getting worse than that. Right now I'm on the handguns, and I can't even describe how nice it is to use actual guns that I can put different attachments on, and so far the handguns have been really fun. I don't want to say too much because I plan on making a video when I platinum handguns, but so far I've golded the 1911, the X16 and the 357, and now I'm on the Deagle, and it feels challenging to go for the different camo challenges, but it still feels fun, and that's really all you can ask for in a mastery camo challenge. Okay, so now for my overall opinion on the Damascus grind so far, I'm actually very surprised to see how much I'm enjoying the Damascus grind. I'm doing exactly what I said I should do in my video announcing that I was about to go for Damascus. I'm not forcing myself to play, I'm having a decent amount of fun, and I'm not making this Damascus grind my main focus in life. Before I announced that I was going for Damascus, for nearly 2 weeks straight I was going for Obsidian on my M13, and it was the most annoying, mind-numbing, tedious thing I've ever done in COD. Especially because I was putting myself under pressure to do it because I knew I had to get Obsidian before I started going for Damascus. I hated every second of that Obsidian grind, and although I set loads of guidelines for myself to follow while going for Damascus, if I'm completely honest, I wasn't expecting myself to follow any of them. I was expecting myself to completely sweat out COD for a week or two and then get burned out and not play it for a few more weeks. But I've actually been following my own advice, and as a result, I've been really enjoying the Damascus grind. Although I will say that ever since I've gotten platinum for the launches, a lot of stuff has happened that has significantly slowed down my progress. I had exams for a week, so I couldn't play COD at all for that week, and my beloved Samsung S7 Edge randomly died on me, and I had to use my horrible iPhone 5C for a few days that doesn't even support Instagram, and I didn't want to start going for handguns until I could post about it to establish the start of it. So yeah, the progress over the past week and a half has been way too slow. It's been over a month since I started going for Damascus, and I haven't even gotten all the secondaries done. I definitely don't want to rush this grind and burn myself out, but I also don't want to be sitting here when COD 2021 is out, still doing a mastery camo challenge from a game that came out 2 years ago. But apart from the slow progress recently, I'm really happy with how the Damascus grind has been going for me, and I'm looking forward to getting more gold weapons. So thank you so much for watching this video, especially if you stuck around to watch the whole thing and not just the guide section. If you liked this video, please leave it a like, and if you didn't, please leave it a dislike. If you like Modern Warfare and want to see more videos like this, you can subscribe. And one more thing, I have pretty big exams coming up and I can't really balance making videos with the study, so I won't be able to post any videos until about early June, but then I'll be free from school and I'm going to try and upload a video every single week. I'm really sorry with how inconsistent the uploads have been recently. Ever since I've been back in school, my schedule's been all over the place. I'll be continuing the Damascus grind, so if you want to see some of me, you can follow me on Instagram at RombarkYT, where I post a lot about going for Damascus. Okay, that's it from me. Thanks again for watching this video, and take care of yourselves.